You might not think that a few simple words can make you crave McDonald's breakfast sandwiches. But if you listen closely to the sound of me saying McGriddles, McMuffin, you might be wrong. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Did you become a school professional to help students reach their full potential? This is the same principle that Milton Hershey School was founded on. If you know of a student ages 4 to 15 who would thrive with just a few more opportunities, explore Milton Hershey School. MHS is here to give kids a safe, stable environment so they can be their greatest selves. We combine an incredible education with healthcare and housing, all at no cost to families. To learn more about referring a student, go to mhskids.org/professionals.
Hi, I'm Mike White.
And I'm Rob St. Mary.
And we're the hosts of the Projection Booth podcast.
If you haven't heard of the Projection Booth, that's okay.
But we think it's time that you have.
We've been doing this for over 3 years now.
And we think we're doing a pretty good show.
Every week we look at a different film and put it in context.
We try to bring you interviews with the people behind the films.
Or experts on a subject matter covered in the film.
We don't specialize in any one particular genre or type of film.
We try to examine every aspect of cinema.
From every corner of the globe.
Even at 3 years, we barely just scratched the surface.
But we're ready. We're ready for you to listen to us.
That's right. Now's the time to give us a shot.
Download us through our free smartphone app.
Or through Stitcher, iTunes, Geek Juice Radio, Jackalow.
Or our website.
projection-booth.com.
We'll keep making great shows.
Now it's your turn to listen to them.
Let's warm up. Let's warm up.
Christopher Media. Let's make some noise. From Asthmacore Studios near Detroit, Michigan, it's Unregimented.
Gangsters, what's up, guys?
All right, episode 89. Holy shit.
89 already.
Yeah. Hey, I'm Chris.
I'm Aaron.
I'm Jay.
I'm Rich.
Jeez.
Should we do something special when we hit 100 or?
Sure. What? Like what?
I don't know.
Fucking just doesn't matter.
Now, like the Weedsman, we
going.
knew when our 1 year anniversary was. Unregimented, no idea. I think it's in like the next week or so.
It's gotta be, yeah. It's gotta be coming up. They weren't that far apart.
Yeah, I know it was maybe a couple weeks.
Well, you guys were on.
Cool.
I made my debut on the show on episode 8, and that was, I want to say, sometime in July of last year. So
and we were still doing single shows. Once Rich showed up, we ramped up to 2. Well, it's you throw in and it's not knocking against. I mean, we talked about this. Not knocking against Rob, whose chair that you filled, but I mean, this isn't Rob's bag. And once you got another interested party in there, you couldn't shut us up. And now we go 2 weeks, and you get Jay in there, and boom.
Yep.
Shit, we start making some money. We can do more of this.
Awesome.
Which, by the way, I'm on. Blah blah blah. We'll start again. I've had a lot of coffee today. I'm a week into actually tracking all the feeds. We have a lot more of an audience as a whole with this show in general than we thought.
Really?
This specific show?
This show and the network as a whole, we're reaching
There's
probably
more-
about twice the amount of people that I initially thought we were reaching.
So we have 6 people.
Well, all right.
Yeah.
You're telling me we're in a double digit?
We're up to 25 people, guys. No.
Right on.
Thank you for listening, liking, and sharing Unregimented on Facebook, following us on Twitter at UnregimentedPod. Thanks for all of the new followers on Twitter with Unregimented. Appreciate it. You can subscribe to Unregimented on iTunes for free by clicking through the iTunes banner on ChristopherMedia.net. Android users, you can find the show on Stitcher Radio. If you like what we do and you would like to show your support for us, you can donate to Christopher Media by using the PayPal button on ChristopherMedia.net. Please click through the Amazon banner and bookmark the page. It won't cost you anything extra, and when you buy something, it will help to show your support for Christopher Media. Every Monday through Friday, you can check out a new episode of our Christopher Media show. Monday and Thursday, you get Unregimented. Tuesdays, you're going to get the Weedsman Podcast Nugget, which is the precursor for the big show on Fridays. Wednesdays, you have the Projection Booth. Check those guys out, projection-booth.com. A lot of buzz starting to circle those guys. Check them out. Even we were interviewing a podcaster from Canada a few weeks back, and he shouted them out. So they got reach. People like them. Check them out every Wednesday, Projection Booth. ChristopherMedia.net. If you're looking to launch your own website, please click through the HostGator banner at ChristopherMedia.net. That's who we use to host all of the Christopher Media shows, and when you sign up for HostGator by clicking through our link, you're helping to support ChristopherMedia.net.
Did I hear you right, Aaron? You said you got a new job?
Yeah, that's right. I've been interviewing for this place that does sales. I'll just leave it at that. It's a sales position, and
Back in the commission game.
I'm totally about it, because this is actually kind of a fair way to handle commission the way that they're doing it.
Word.
Nice.
Well, let's see. I know of now.
By the way, your tax refund won't change.
Yeah.
A message from the future.
Well, I know.
So I owe them $200 less.
I now know two friends of mine.
I know it might change. I might pay it.
Who aren't married, who I can borrow money from. Thank you.
Don't bother calling me, bro. I got 3 kids.
No, I know, dude. I know. You got the wife. You got to run it. You got to run it by the boss. I mean, you may wear the pants, but she tells you which ones. I got it.
I got 5 dependents, including myself.
Well, yeah, pick these pants out for you.
I don't want to just go off on myself for the whole episode, but I will for a little bit here, because I had a really good day, and I wanted to tell you guys something about it. In addition to getting the confirmation on the job today, which was a big relief, because they said they were going to make me an offer, and they made me wait 2 days, and those 2 days were like, what the fuck is going on? But in addition to that, I got to spend the day with my son, and
awesome.
This was kind of an interesting story, because I don't know, I think I've mentioned it before on this podcast, but he's been having some troubles in school, and I'm not going to go too deep into it, but he's a hyperactive, a little 11-year-old boy, and
so normal,
and gets bored really easily, and honestly should probably be moved ahead just so he doesn't get so bored, and so that he can remain more engaged and maybe not have so many issues at school. But he's had some issues, and they had the class had a field trip today to the DIA, which he was really looking forward to. And I was kind of excited that he was just looking forward to it, because he's kind of been like, screw that, school's just a bunch of BS and nobody likes me, and he's going through all that shit. And it because of his past behavioral problems, they kind of sprung last minute on us that he's going to have to be chaperoned by one of the parents for this trip.
Like specifically him?
Yes.
Like his own personal chaperone?
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely. So they had they let us know, I think this was Friday, and today is Wednesday. So it was of course, the trips like these are planned months in advance.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So this was kind of last minute that they let us know, and his mother had to work and had just started a new job and really couldn't take a day off, and I decided that screw it, I'm going to take the day off and go with him. Well, because I have never done anything like went and chaperoned any event or even picked them up from school before, because I live too far away, they didn't have, they do background checks on all the parents who are going to be doing all this stuff.
What?
Picking up the kids. Yes. Oh, yeah. Background checks on who's picking up the kids. And if you're taking them anywhere, even if you're with the school, we were with the whole class, they still have to do a background check on you.
Time out. Give me a second.
Yeah.
That's only if you're chaperoning. You can pick up your own son as long as you can prove he's your son without a background check, right?
No, they do background checks on everybody.
What the fuck?
Absolutely. They want to know. They want to know who's picking them up.
Eligible adults have to have background checks.
Even if you have proof that you're the child's parent.
Yep.
Yes.
Wow. Okay, so what if you got convicted when you were 17 of an MIP? You can't pick your kid up?
Yeah, I mean that's not it's not that.
They're looking for sex
pedophiles
offenders type
and shit. Yeah.
Sure. Okay. I'm sure this is extreme stuff. I'm not thinking that they're going to find some, possession charge of marijuana on my record and say you can't,
they might say you can't chaperone, but they can't say you can't pick your kid up.
Well, they're not saying any of that. The only issue was that because of this, the whole thing happened last minute, and they didn't have a background check on me, and it was too late to do one. They were like, "No, you can't chaperone." And then, and this was like a major issue for my son. He was really upset when I saw him that he wasn't going to be able to attend, and I kind of got to be the hero and was like, "Hey, I'm going to take you," and he was so happy because of that. And now this is another roadblock. Well, we didn't let it stop us. So I just went and got him, and I took him out to the DIA anyways.
Exactly. You and him outside of the school.
Right. Exactly. And we saw his class, and he's not allowed to like hang out with them or anything, but he said hi.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Were the kids in his class all wrapped in bubble wrap?
Yeah.
Rich, you gotta understand this day and age.
Yeah.
I understand I understand where you're coming from, and it does fucking suck, but that is what it is.
Yeah, Jay and I have had these reactions, but this has already happened like 10 years ago.
But you guys got to remember, like my daughter, she'll be 19 this year, and maybe it's because she's lived always in upstate New York with her mother, a very isolated type area. Everybody knows everybody, literally. That this wasn't this type of thing. I mean, if you were that worried, you just homeschooled your kid.
Yeah, she probably just missed all the insanity that's going on now as well.
Okay.
This is fairly recent.
Dude, Sandy Hook flipped a bitch on all this stuff.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, man. I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
So...
Wow, I'm sorry, guys. I mean, I'm not sorry, but like I have nothing but empathy and compassion for you guys as parents these days, because I would be infuriated at the insinuation.
His mother called me and was furious, and I had to actually be the one to calm her down. And I was like, I can understand that you're upset, but I have to see where the school's coming from too. It was my son's behavior that put him in this situation in the first place, whether you agree or disagree with the school's decision. And the school's decision to treat him differently. So this was actually an interesting conversation that we had before we went to the DA. We went and grabbed something to eat. White Castle right down Woodward.
Dirty Whiteys.
Yeah, my old stomping grounds. I didn't tell him the story about passing out in the drive-thru. But
no, that probably wouldn't have went well when we went back to school.
Yeah, but so we were having a little conversation, and I was like, I wanted this to be a good day for him, so I wasn't going to harp on him, and I wasn't going to be like, if you didn't act out at school, we wouldn't be in this situation. I wasn't going over that. Right. That ground's already been covered. But what we talked about is how... it was basically the way I boiled it down to him. It's all about giving people leverage on you, right? You don't like the way that the school's treating you. You're not going to be able to change school policy, certainly not as an 11-year-old. You're not going to fight the system. You can do what you can control, which is your own behavior. How can you modify your behavior so that people can't use things against you? So they can't say, you can't go here or do that or be with this person or have this job or whatever it may be.
Yeah, and that's a lesson, unfortunately. The sooner he learns it, the better off he'll be.
Right. It took me a long time, and there's different levels of that too.
It took me to like 30.
Well, right. The whole shit with getting my license.
Some of us are still working on it.
I'm having an epiphany, right?
The whole shit with getting my license back is like, do I agree with the police or the state laws or any of that? Do I think that the system's fucked? It doesn't matter, right? I was sick of being harassed by cops. I was sick of being ticketed and dragged into a holding cell or having my vehicle impounded. So I took care of my shit so that I wouldn't have to deal with that anymore. I took care of what I could take care of on my end. Yeah. So that was kind of the conversation that we had.
Well, it's honestly a good conversation to have. And sadly, it's a conversation. See, I never had that with my father until I was like damn near an adult. And he just never felt the need to have it. But it's a conversation that I think you should, nowadays, you should probably have with your kids, probably at around your son's age, around 10, 11.
Yep.
Because, I mean, remember the old Violent Femme song, "This Will Go Down on Your Permanent Record"?
Yeah.
It's like now it's like your permanent record starts when you're in fucking grade school. Yeah. It's crazy. Shit that happened in grade school, you could affect if you try to put your kid in a private school, come junior high school, no matter what he's done or she's done. And it's insane. I can't wrap my head around it. It's just like my friends who have kids who are now just entering, 14 years old or so and entering high school, they're in so many extracurricular activities, and it's just so they look good on college applications. And I'm like, at 13, 14, I wasn't thinking about college applications. Who the fuck was, It's insane.
World, brother.
Yeah.
So
I didn't think about college till I walked in the fucking door to sign the paperwork. I was like,
then you signed it and you were like, Jesus Christ, how many pages I got to sign? That's how much I'm going to owe you? Holy shit. Do I really need college? How much is a trade school?
I went to trade school.
Where's Specs Howard?
Fucking $20,000 for ITT, and I didn't fucking finish because it was bullshit.
Dude, I had so many people tell me to go to ITT, and I looked into it, and I talked to a few different people. I don't know if you'd call them recruiters or whatever they do, but the more I talked to them, I was just like, I'm getting a sketched out vibe from this.
The salesman of ITT?
Yeah.
That's what they are. They're salesmen.
Yeah.
Like they literally sat me down at one point, one-on-one, and started showing me videos of their commercials. And I'm like, I've seen all these before. I've been up at 3 a.m. between the Sarah McLachlan, look at this, someone's stabbing kittens in the fucking head, and, hey, get off the couch, call this. Oh, there's an ITT Tech commercial. That looks decent. So,
I still do see a lot of those a lot of those commercials. It seems like there's less of them, though. They're being taken over by the
Phoenix and online shit.
Well, no, that too, but there seems to be a higher concentration, especially later at night or in the middle of the day, of the lawyer commercials.
Yeah.
The class action commercials.
Get rich quick.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's funny you should say it. I just had a friend who received a notice, and she thought it was from Department of Human Services. The notice itself, what it was a notice of a class action lawsuit that they're like, she qualifies for, would you like to be a part of? And I'm not going to go into the details of it because it's her personal business, but she was like, fuck yeah, I do. She's like, yeah, sign me up. I mean, it's a legit reason as far as I'm concerned.
Get your 50 cents.
Oh, sure. Yeah, there's certainly... Legit.
No, she was denied benefits of who she was married to. Let's put it that way. Okay. And it was ruled that it's unconstitutional. So now there's a class action lawsuit to where she might be eligible for retroactively for benefits. So
okay,
I can't go into much more detail than that, but you know,
well, you haven't given her name.
That's true,
right? So I could speculate wildly on her. Oh, her husband.
Her husband has a drug offense, and she was turned down when she was unemployed for. She only applied for food stamps. She was turned down for food stamps because she's married to a felon. Mm-hmm. It was a felony drug offense. AKA, it was a drug that wasn't weed, you know. Right. Pretty much everything else is a felony. So, yeah. And she just never, she was like, okay, I got turned down, whatever. And, you know, did what most people do, knuckled down, went through it. But yeah, she just received this paperwork from DHS themselves informing her that a class action lawsuit had been filed. The lawsuit had been filed, blah, blah, blah. And to contact them, she might be eligible for retroactive benefits if she still wants them. So I don't know how that would work now because she's in a much better place than she was a couple of years ago when she applied. But, you know, still, it's just the fact that I don't understand how they can deny one person benefits over, or, you know, food assistance because you're married to a certain, you know, person. Well, what if he was in prison, you know, but because, he lives at home, he did his probation, it's still on his record, she can never, as long as she's married to him, get any assistance. That, to me, that just seems asinine.
Yeah.
And
no, we have a lot of laws that put people in a special category once they break certain laws that they can't get out of.
Let me play devil's advocate on that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And not necessarily my views, but just kind of what popped into my head right there.
Right.
It was, okay, you got a guy in prison, right? He broke the fucking law. He broke the law.
Sure.
Regardless if you care about what the law, we're going back on taking care of your shit. Regardless.
Yeah, if you're doing time, you're not in there for jaywalking.
Right. He's married to this chick, right? Mm-hmm. Well, the law's natural assumption, which we don't agree with, but the law's natural assumption is that she's probably had something to do with.
She was complicit.
She knew what he was doing. Uh-huh. So now you're talking, you got a guy in prison on federal and state aid.
Right.
And now his family has to go on state aid because he fucked up and can't bring in the income. So you got double whammy.
No, I got you. And if he had actually done prison time and was in prison when she applied, I might understand it a little bit more.
Was she married to him?
She'd have probably had a better shot if he was in prison.
Was she married to him?
He did a couple months, and then he did a couple years probation. The zero tolerance probation they have here in Michigan, where, I mean, literally every morning he had to call in, and if his color was called, he had to go and give urine. Some days he had to give blood. Every time he came in, he had to blow. And I mean, it wasn't alcohol or weed that he was caught with. So
he had to blow his parole officer.
Yeah, exactly. At that point, it's just like I might as well go to prison and take my chances. Because if I have to blow you to stay out, I might not have to blow some guy if I'm in. So, you know.
Either way, you got to suck a dick.
I don't know.
I'd rather suck a dick on the outside to stay on the outside. But that's just me.
Yeah. I think I'm with Chris on this. I mean, if those were my choices, if those were my only choices,
not in prison, I don't go to prison. Okay, sounds like a fair trade.
Oh, shit. So, in other words, if you guys commit a felony, I need to apply to be a fucking parole officer real quick.
Right. Now,
I'd be like, I need these two on my case docket. Come on, send them over.
Would you hope for a good-looking parole officer or a slob? This is what I'm wondering. Because you think,
and then it's a hot dog. It doesn't fucking matter.
I don't know. Because you just figure, like, you don't want to be with an ugly person no matter what you're doing. But then again, if you're not into it, then
look, man. Either way, I'm not gay. I'm not bi.
They're not telling anyone about this, and neither am I.
I'm not gay, I'm not bi, and I'm not
just going on your permanent
sexual
record.
that requires balls against my chin. I don't want balls against my chin.
I'm a freedom sexual.
Does that make you gay?
If you're gay, do you just look in the mirror and get off on your own body all day? Yeah, that's like, yeah.
It takes 3 dicks to be gay.
That's the quota?
I guess. And it's not gay if your wife or girlfriend is doing it to you.
So Jay, by your rationale, you got to pass in the first 2 dicks. Once you get to the 3rd dick, you're now gay.
The problem is you got your own dick, so there's 1.
Right, yeah. I think I was counting my own dick as 1.
Yeah.
So you get a 1 dick pass. That's what you're saying.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you're allowed to jerk yourself off. I mean, come on.
No, I'm talking other dicks.
Oh, it
Because you
takes
said
2
you're not
more.
gay till 3.
It takes 2 more besides yourself. So
Yeah.
It takes 3 dicks to be
So
gay.
you get a pass on that errant
So a
dick
sword-
in
yeah.
between.
Sword-
Hey, shit happens sometimes.
You
There's
cross swords,
cocaine,
it's
there's
an occupational
LSD,
hazard.
there's all kinds of shit that could get in your brain. It's like if you take 1 or 2, it's
a lot of
party
sex.
time.
Man could have slipped in there. There's
Whoops.
no way of knowing.
No, whoops, man. Whoops.
Like we were DPing this chick. I was on top, he was on bottom, she was in the middle, and our balls touched. It's
No,
okay.
that doesn't matter. That doesn't count.
What's the old guy's name from The Office?
I just started watching it again. What the fuck? Creed.
Yeah, that was a Creed line. Somebody asked him about it was the whole controversy over somebody was gay in the office, and somebody asked him if he's ever experienced anything like that, and he's like, well, in the 60s there's a lot of stuff going on, a lot of sex. A man could have slipped in there. There's really no way of knowing.
Yikes.
Oh, see, that just made me glad I wasn't born. I've been saying for years I was born too late. No, I'm all right. I'm right where I need to be. I have a clear line in the sand, and on this side of the line, I don't have sword fights. Okay, on that side, if you want to,
that's not gay. Penetration.
Right. If Rich was born 10 years earlier, he would have ended up in a production of Hair. Things went a little sideways afterwards.
If I was born 10 years earlier, I'd have been like in the 80s, fucking
20 years?
The Dave Chappelle skit where it's like, I looked at Prince once in the eyes. I've been in love ever since. Just shit like that. Oh, God. Well, anyway, so because I've had a really good day. I don't know if Chris heard this. We were having technical difficulties.
Yeah.
Well, let's be honest. I was having technical difficulties. But, all right, continue.
My good day is I am 100% legit finally. I am no longer driving with one eye in the rearview mirror and one eye out the fucking front window.
It'll take a couple months to shake that feeling, though.
Dude, just real quick, the story
when your guts
is
turn to ice.
You're back to rolling through stop signs.
Oh, dude, I wanted to drive to Livonia, to Redford, to St. Clair Shores, and just drive with both middle fingers out the window and be like, pull me over because I'm fucking good. Check my paperwork. Just
hey, somebody give me a speeding ticket. Oh, and they were out today. Little James Brown beat.
I don't know if this is about my good day or if this is about double up on it because Jay said only 3 dicks make it gay. But no, anyway, so I got my insurance taken care of.
Jesus.
I went to the Secretary of State and I'm sitting there and literally 2 DPDs walk in and they're standing behind me. And I'm walking up to the window and I'm like, I hope everything's taken care of because, the Secretary of State could be like, nah, your license suspended. You have a warrant. We can't do this. And if these 2 cops were 2 feet behind my shoulder, they can hear everything being said. And I'm just going, well, I'm about to find out if I'm completely legit. And I gave her the info, and she was like, oh, I got a problem here. And my heart just kind of sank for a second. I was like, oh, no. And then she goes, oh, my printer's not working. Hold on a second.
Bitch.
Yeah, and I'm sitting here because, it's a
Let's
7 and
define
Evergreen.
Problem going forward. What can constitute a problem? Me not getting my shit. Anything else? Don't care.
And it's a 7 and Evergreen, so I'm obviously the lighter of the lightest.
You're odd man
that place.
out. Just say it. You're odd man out.
Yeah. And I'm just sitting there like, oh man, don't fucking say your license suspended or you have a warrant and I didn't take care of it because I've sent all the paperwork and all the money in, but you never know. Sometimes.
Yeah, they hit me with that last fee last time I went in.
Yeah, in Aaron's case. Oh no, you owe us $500 more.
Yep, exactly.
I'll be back in 2 weeks.
So yeah, so when she's like, she printed out my tabs, and I was like, all right, cool. And I walked out the door, and I went right to my car, and I put my new tab on, and I put it in with my insurance info, and I was like, I'm not even bullshitting. I wanted to drive through Redford, just windows down, playing "Fuck the Police," and see if I can get Sergeant Greg to come fucking pull me over and be like, check this paperwork, I'm good.
You're doing donuts in the parking lot as you leave. Come on, motherfuckers, pull me over. Give me a ticket. That's all you're going to get before this time.
But yeah, because it also opens up a new world of possibilities as far as employment. So that's always good. And that's I'm not going to say I'm like the Temptations song on Cloud 9, but I might be on like 7.5 right now. Give me a couple hours, you know. During the break, I'm going to go get my head right and see if I can get on Cloud 9 for the second half. I don't know.
But that's good though, Rich. You've had a tumultuous last 6 to 8 months. Mm-hmm. It's nice to hear some good news coming out of you for a change, man.
Yeah, congratulations, brother.
No, I appreciate it. Dude, guys, I appreciate it. And I mean, if I believed in some sort of deity, I'd probably be thanking it, but I don't. So I'm just like, thank the universe or whatever. Yeah. My wallet, yeah.
Yeah, I still get, I'm not religious. I don't believe in, I'm very scientifically minded, I guess. But I still do little things that are just superstitions, and I don't even know why. Like, and even today, today actually validated one of them, because it's been ever since my childhood. When the clock turned 11:11, you're making a wish.
I've never heard that one.
Yeah,
that's all the time.
What's that?
I said I hear it all the time.
Yeah,
usually females are involved.
Yeah, I picked this up from girls. You're supposed to make
11:11 or it's 1:11. Make a wish. I wish you would stop telling me to do that stupid shit.
1:11 doesn't count.
I wish your ass was on my dick.
Yeah. Make a wish. Well, you're not fucking me. It's a bunch of bullshit.
Well, today I was in my car. I was downtown, and I was waiting to hear about this new job. And like I said, I've been totally anxious the last 2 days. And I looked at my phone to check my email, because I've been checking it like every 5 minutes. And I saw on the clock it's 11:11. And so I just made a little wish. And 2 minutes later, I got the email.
Nice.
Total coincidence, but if that wasn't already ingrained in my psyche, I will be making a wish on 11/11 for the rest of my life.
Oh, I got you. I still have friends who, for whatever reason, I never understood, but when they open up a pack of cigarettes, they flip one.
Yeah, they get the lucky cigarette.
And you never smoke somebody else's lucky smoke.
Yeah, I made the mistake. I'd forgotten about this because people outside of high school stopped doing it. And one of my female friends, a couple months ago, I was over at her house, and I said, "Can I get a cigarette?" And she said, "Yeah." And there was one flipped over. I didn't even think. I just reached in and grabbed it. And she goes, "No! Put my lucky down!" And I was like, "Whoa!"
But
I think if I just like raped her, it'd have probably gotten a better response.
If you went from her vagina, she'd be like, "Get out of here!"
She'd be like, "Stop it." Stop it.
You know, Rich, though, that's probably the mentality of that person is they probably also believe that the position of the sun on the day they were born affects their personality traits.
Yeah.
Oh, boy. You've never met this woman, but boy, do you know this woman.
Some clarification on the lucky cigarette, though. Does it get transferred to the next pack, or do you smoke it at the end of that pack?
Smoke it. It's your last smoke.
You smoke it at the end.
That's your last cigarette.
Okay.
I believe that was the high school protocol.
What about the double lucky?
The double lucky?
Nah,
that's just...
What's the double? What, you flip it over twice and then you can't tell which one it is?
That's to make sure. That's to make sure some motherfucker doesn't steal two of your cigarettes.
The only thing I can say is it's a couple who smoke the same brand and they always share the same pack. So maybe it's a lucky for each of them.
Okay.
That's like a wishbone, though. Only one person's truly getting the lucky cigarette, I think.
Now, what if it's a lucky straight non-filter? How do you know which one's the lucky?
There
cigarette?
You go.
And they look the same upside down?
I can tell you who's not lucky. Your lungs.
I know, right? I smoked when I first started buying my own cigarettes. I was buying Pall Mall on filters. So,
are you fucking kidding?
Camel on filters are here, brother.
Oh man.
No, man, I'm not joking.
I mean, that is like
Jay knows what's up.
Yep, me and Scotty used to smoke Camel no filters all the fucking time.
I did Camel wides for
He would obtain a carton of them. And he would smoke the shit out of them.
I thought I was man for starting out on Camel Reds.
Nah.
No, actually, I started on my grandmother's, which were Salem's.
The ones that had a K, those old ones?
Golden Lights for me, brother.
This was
Turkish Delights.
Turkish
Delights.
Yeah, no. Don't they still make Camel Reds?
I don't know about Camel Reds. No, they just make
it was
the only
Camel
red
Reds.
Camels I remember the ones that began with a K.
Mm-hmm.
That was later. That was kind of a marketing thing, I guess. The communist.
I mean,
Camels.
I know there was Camel regulars, there's Camel wides. Like I was on those for a minute.
Yeah, I was on those for a minute too.
But they never made Camel menthol wides. What the fuck?
Oh God!
Why?
Why don't you just stuff some
pine
insulation?
Tree down there.
Some insulation in your cheek.
Have a little asbestos with your cigarette.
We all grew up close enough to Canada to where and we're all around the same age. We should remember these cigarettes. Remember Players?
Oh yeah, dude,
sure.
I used to smoke the shit out of them.
Players?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Black
Blair cigarettes.
No.
Black. Yeah, they were good. No, we used to get them from the party store right by my house.
Well, yeah, because we're so close to Canada, we could. But if you went to Ohio and you asked for a pack of Players, they'd look at you like you were retarded. They're
That's like asking for a Labatt Blue anywhere outside of Michigan and Canada. They're like,
or going to Nebraska and asking for a Fago.
I went to when I was in Minnesota. I asked for a Labatt, and she goes, "We don't have any Canadian beer."
What?
Now that makes no sense to me.
No, me
Fuck
neither.
them. Isn't like
They
the
make
North
great
half
beer.
of that state like Canada Junior anyway?
Yeah, right. Well, the way
They're
they talk,
in
I'm
denial.
like, well, as I said, I'm like, you got a heavier Canadian accent than I do.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
What next? You don't have Leinenkugels that come from the state right next door to you?
Although we don't have Yingling, man. Yingling beer is fucking awesome.
that green bottle shit from fucking Pennsylvania.
Yeah,
You
buddy.
can find Yingling
Fuck
in Michigan.
that.
You
No,
have to
that's,
go near the Ohio border.
Yeah, I know. That's Rolling
Yuengling-
Rock. There,
Yuengling is
Rich.
shit.
Yingling's a shit. It's
Rich man, you got to have Yingling on tap. Holy shit!
Holy crap!
I've never.
Look, my buddy, my old bass player, he was from Philly. We went out to Philly to collect a lot of his equipment one time. We spent like 3-4 days out there. I had it in the bottles. I had it from the tap, and I was just like, this just isn't my thing. It just wasn't my thing. I'm like,
I bet you like IPA though.
Nope.
Oh,
dude,
sorry.
I'm cheap. I'm a cheap date.
Absolute
Say,
ribbon, baby.
IPA is the most horrible beer ever created.
I love IPAs.
My brother likes, when he used to drink a lot, he liked Steel Reserve. I'm like, how the fuck do you drink
Nobody
that shit?
likes Steel Reserve.
Yeah,
Exactly.
that's
what you can
You have a
afford.
habit to maintain if you drink Steel
That's
Reserve.
like natural light.
I like it because
Oh,
it's
the
$2
Beast
for a
Milwaukee's
40
Beast.
ounce. That's what he likes.
Little natty light ice. Yeah.
If you're buying Steel Reserve, to me that's like buying Wild Turkey. You just want to get drunk.
I used to like going to Canada to drink.
Hey, what's wrong with Wild Turkey? It's 101 proof.
Yeah, then what's a fifth? $3? That's what I'm saying. Like
A fifth is
Wild Turkey? No, you're thinking of like fucking Mohawk or some shit. Wild Turkey's like probably on the same level as Jim Beam, I would think.
No,
way,
God, no.
Really?
As a whiskey fan,
Yeah, no.
absolutely not. No.
Yeah,
Maybe
it's a
I'm
little
thinking
below.
old granddad.
Hey, Chris, you're in Manhattan area?
I am in Queens.
Okay.
Well, actually, technically, I'm in Jersey right now because it's just cheaper to stay here, and New Jersey doesn't charge you $50 to park in the fucking parking lot. But
You should,
shit, right.
but I've been in
check out-
Queens all week.
Check out a bar if you're in Manhattan. Check out a bar called Ginger Man. Shut
They
up.
let him in.
Yeah. Just tell him,
There's
hey,
some exclusive
no,
club
man.
you belong to.
Just tell him Jake sent you. You'll be all right.
And just remember,
Drop my last name out of that. Tell him Jake
Jay
sent you.
sent you, and Jay said, as long as there's not a third one in, there's no third man into the ring, you're good. So,
Well,
From the meetings, told me you should try this bar. Told me I should try this bar.
yeah, but Chris, all you have to do is get a red. You got to get a ginger merkin. That's it. You just
I'll give you some shit from the bottom of my shoe when I'm done, bro.
Or-
wear sweatpants. Just pull them out and be like, "There you go."
Now ask
Here's
for
my proof.
ask for Wally and tell him I sent you.
Okie
this keeps
dokie.
getting worse and worse.
Right.
Yeah.
Ask for Wally. Don't ask for the Wally. That's something different.
Yeah, no, you're not allowed to ask for that. Because Wally will give you the Wally.
And whatever you do, if they say, do you want to come back and ride the Tower of Power? Tell them, no.
Pussy.
No, that's not a good idea.
Well, you don't like Tower of Power?
No, because no. See,
No, because it's
in
not
Ginger,
hit to
in
ride
Ginger,
the Tower of Power, okay?
it's the rocket ship of pain. That's what we call
Rocket
it.
shit.
As long as it's not the Eiffel Tower of Power.
You got a dude back there dressed like the Gimp, greased up to his fucking shoulder going, come on in. And you're like, whoa, no, I'm good. Thank you,
We
sir.
got a couple flies in the trap.
Yeah.
Well, so Baltimore.
Yeah.
It's on fire.
Time to bring it down.
Yeah. Who invited these guys?
Well, because I wanted to get to it in this episode.
No,
it needs to be gotten to. Because hopefully by the time this airs, things will have calmed down. Hopefully.
Right.
Maybe.
Well, I would
Probably
assume
not.
so. Well, last night was a lot better. Well, okay,
Because they told everyone, because at 10 o'clock, the police and the National Guard locked arms and just pretty much swept the streets.
Well, I heard for the night of rioting, the night of the riots, there was, I guess, like 3,000 police officers out on the streets. And they said that there was going to be even more the next day. And
so that's city, county, state, plus whatever federal
from everywhere. Yeah, there was federal.
That mayor fucked up. She didn't call national emergency soon enough.
Yeah.
She should have probably made that call on, I don't know,
10 minutes
Sunday,
into it?
Monday.
Yeah, right.
Possibly Saturday night.
Yeah.
Well, I guess she thinks she fucked up by referring to the people, the looters, as thugs.
Yeah.
This is
Why?
this is the trigger word for this event.
The president did.
Oh, actually, I didn't. Did Obama refer to them as thugs? Thieves.
He did, I believe, today or yesterday he did.
Because the strongest language I heard from him were that these were thieves. He said, "Let's not make any. Let's not parse words."
Why didn't he just come out and be like, "My niggas, knock it the fuck off, motherfuckers, sit the fuck down. We got this shit, goddammit."
You know, there were a lot of brothers who did, actually. There were a lot of brothers who did.
Actually, the Bloods and the Crips did. The Bloods and the Crips
are watching. Knock this shit off.
Yeah, knock this shit off, motherfucker. You make me look bad.
Well, it was interesting because the word thug was used by not only the mayor, who I guess apologized for it, but I'm trying to remember who else it was.
Apologized for it.
Yeah, they had to apologize for it, right?
Apologize.
Calling people who are looting thugs.
Poor choice of words here.
Hold on, I'm not done talking yet. Hold on, let me finish my Let me finish my sentence. So the mayor had to apologize for referring to the looters as thugs. I think it was like the district attorney or somebody like that also did and was apologizing. Now he was on. I heard him on NPR today, and he was explaining why he was apologizing, and it was kind of weird, like. 'Cause I'm like, why do you have to apologize for that? These guys are. This is a criminal act.
Fucking thugs,
right?
We're on the same page there, Aaron. Because it's poor choice of words here, but the expression is the expression. Why do we have to apologize for calling a spade a spade?
Oh, easy on that. Easy, killer, easy.
That's the
no.
Okay, fine. Why can't we say? Why can't? What
Just
happened
say what
to?
it
Why
is.
do we have to sugarcoat the truth?
How about this?
You've been videotaped doing felonious things. Why do we have to apologize for calling you a thug?
We have a black president and a black mayor that could have come out and been like, "Motherfuckers, we got this shit. Don't make it about you. Make it about him. Don't fucking pull this shit."
I don't know if they
real quick, guys. Real quick.
Where's the black leadership there?
The term thug has been looked at for a while now, and this goes back to Chris will know what I'm talking about. When Richard Sherman went off after an interview, and people were like, "Oh, he's a thug," and
it's
blah blah
code
blah.
for black.
It's that special word
It's
for
code
black.
for
Yeah, no, it's code for fucking calling someone basically a fucking nigger.
After Baltimore riot, some leaders slammed thug as the new N-word.
N-word, exactly. And see, I don't agree with that because first of all, it's like remember when in the 2000 in the 90s 2000s gangster. First of all, real gangsters don't rap.
Here's the Merriam.
So stop that. These are not thugs. You know what a thug is? A thug is a motherfucker who is connected, who does shit. These are just fucking criminals. This is what these people are.
Man,
they're fucking opportunists. They're opportunistic criminals. They saw a protest. Some people, got the shit riled up. You're always going to have that mob mentality after a certain point. Every time, University of Kentucky just recently lost in the NCAA tournament. Boom. They rioted. No one was calling them thugs. Vancouver lost in the Stanley Cup Finals a couple years ago. I'm sorry, but Vancouver is predominantly white. Well, yeah, no one was calling them thugs. It was just, the rioters, this and that. No, it's a mob mentality, and people are going to be opportunistic when they see the chance to fucking do it.
Let's just break it down
between
to
setting a
semantics.
car on fire and destroying your neighborhood.
Let's fucking boil it down to semantics here. Okay, Merriam-Webster definition for thug is a violent criminal, a brutal ruffian or assassin, gangster tough. Like, come on, man, that word right there, she was right. She used the correct word. They were violent criminals.
And I don't ever use the word. To me, a thug it's one of the guys in the green spandex shirts that followed the Riddler around in the old Batman show.
Exactly. low-level fucking guys.
Henchmen.
Hey, man, there's like
connected,
shirts
yes.
that I can buy from my union that actually say Union Thug on them.
Right.
They say
Okay.
Union Thug right on the shirt.
Well,
I'm not buying that shit, but, it's like, come on.
let's keep a lid on that conversation.
Well,
Talk about Baltimore.
Who I believe was, I think it was the district attorney in Baltimore who was apologizing for this in trying to explain himself. Was kind of, he was talking about how, well, this kind of this makes it seem like I'm calling everybody out there, all the black people are thugs. And that, that there are actually people out there that are trying to do good and trying to stop violence. And there were actually, I didn't read any stories about this, but according to him, there were actually gangs that banded together to stop destruction in the neighborhood.
The Bloods and the Crips actually banded together. And the thing is the media never fucking showed the peaceful protests. All they showed was the fucking burning and shit. There were more people in peaceful protests.
Have you guys seen the pictures?
It's the news networks.
Have you guys seen
highlighting the bad shit?
Yep.
Have you guys seen the pictures from yesterday and today of local people that actually live in the neighborhood? And it's northwest. It's west north street on the west side of Baltimore. People that live in these neighborhoods started cleaning them up, and then when protesters come out, they were fine with it. They were like, go ahead and keep protesting. But then when the fucking looters and rioters come out, people from the neighborhood stood in front of the fucking cops. The cops were in SWAT gear, and they were like, if you want to get to these cops, you got to go through your own fucking people.
The fucking
Come get some.
a city councilman did that.
So why is it that people who are trying to actually prevent violence and looting and fires, who were, the Bloods and the Crips that were protecting stores in their neighborhood, the people that are protecting the police, these people don't get on the news or don't get the big stories, but everybody,
because that doesn't get
raised.
raised.
But actually, the Bloods and the Crips did. I have a thing on.
Okay, so there's got to be a story out there, but everybody has seen the mom smacking the kid upside the head.
Awesome, man.
Yeah, that's great.
Which is awesome, yeah, but if they're really interested in stories about people who aren't playing to what others might consider their type, which is poor and black and wanting to set stuff on fire, other than just this one woman. We like this story because it's like, yeah, that's how a black mother takes care of her children. She smacks them upside the head when they do something stupid.
It's because gang members can never be portrayed in a good light.
Right. They are going against type, and the mother is going with type, according to people people that have narrow views of others.
Man, we're all close enough in age. Maybe your family wasn't like this. If I got caught on camera doing some fucking dumbass shit, my mom would have jerked a knot in my ass and looked for a camera.
Yes.
To be like, watch me do this.
But what I'm talking about,
watch me fuck him up.
Is the reason that she blew up is because she's playing into a stereotype. I'm not saying that this is her intention or anybody's intention really, but it's like, why has it caught on when the Bloods and Crips story hasn't?
It's playing into. I know it's a stereotype, but here's the thing: it's playing into being a good parent. You're beating that kid's ass that way he don't go to the penitentiary.
I was cheering her on.
He may
no
look
doubt.
like the bitch now, but he ain't gonna be the bitch for 10 to 15.
Right.
Okay. There's a difference because that little skinny motherfucker was gonna get passed around like a party joint on the main line. All right, so his mama needed to beat his fucking ass. Needed to beat his ass.
Yeah.
What white, black doesn't matter.
Did you actually hear the audio too?
No,
She says to him, she's like, why are you wearing a mask? If you're going to be out here doing this shit, causing trouble, throwing shits, rioting, let people see who's really doing it.
Yeah, don't be a chicken shit.
And that's when she ripped it and started ripping at his mask and trying to show his face.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's probably the mentality, you're big and bad, let the whole world see you being big and bad, Mr. Hiding behind a mask.
Yeah.
Yep, and when you're sitting there in fucking a level fucking 4 prison going, what are you in here for? My mama beat my ass if she caught me looting. Well, guess what? I'm gonna beat that ass for the next
You're my new
fucking 6
girlfriend.
years. Yeah.
Well, while we're talking about stereotypes, have any of you guys ever watched The Nightly Show with Larry Wilmore, show that replaced the Colbert Report on Comedy Central?
I've only caught pieces of it. I catch like 5 minutes and then I don't know.
I finally watched it last night.
Yeah,
and I mean, it's a comedy show, whatever.
Sure.
But it's. I caught it being super hypocritical. Like in his opening monologue, Larry Wilmore. I mean, and two, I think this is turning into lazy. I mean, obviously, Aaron, I think we've talked about this before. Just poking at Fox News as like low hanging fruit.
Yeah.
At this point, it's like a fart joke.
Right.
And so just goes on this, this maybe 2 or 3 minute diatribe, lambasting Fox News, and a lot of the things that they were. You could tell somebody that wasn't Larry Wilmore's age probably wrote this piece because it just seemed like all of the things that they were trying
kept saying hashtag.
That they were trying to rail against Fox News for just seemed like they were grasping at straws. Like he had this whole thing where he was talking about how Fox News made sure they hit all of the black people stereotypes with the super strength and the way they dress and all this stuff. And then they come back from commercial, and then they go into a piece where he interviews. They talked about the mom video, and he interviews. Civil unrest mom was the name of the character, and all this woman was nothing but stereotypes of black women. Like if you looked at the character this woman was, I'm sitting there going, "You're doing exactly what you just railed against Fox News doing fucking 10 minutes ago." Yeah. So and to me that just points out a lot of the hypocrisy, in the media. Like I said, it's a comedy show. It's
guys, look, is it just me, or honestly, why is this a black stereotype that your mother will beat the shit out of you if she catches you acting a fucking fool? My mother would do it in a heartbeat.
But it was just the way she was dressed, the way she was talking, the expression she was using, things like that. Like it was just like, it's like, this is nothing but a giant stereotype right here, but it's okay because you're black and she's black. Like, I don't know. I think we go back to something I was talking about a long time ago. I think when we had Todd on this, I'm just looking for consistency, people. Like, let's stay on message here. If we're really railing against something, we're back to what the mom's talking, we're inferring. Take a stand. Right. Don't fucking don't rail against it for 5 minutes and then go and do the exact same thing 10 minutes later and act like you're better than everybody else.
Rich, I can't say exactly why this is a stereotype, but it does seem that this used to be not a stereotype. It was just how shit was. If you were a certain age, your father or your mother taking a wooden spoon or telling you to go out and pick a switch or something, that was just how you were disciplined. And people started getting shamed out of that behavior as a society. And again, I'm totally generalizing, but black mothers didn't really change on that. They're like, no, when my son's fucking up, I'm going upside his head.
See, man, I'm gonna tell you what. My mom. I was 9 years old. I'll tell you, and this is a story that I've told to friends of mine who I work with who are like maybe 10 years younger than me, and they look at me like I just said I was anally probed by a fucking alien. They're like, I can't, dude. No, you're fucking with me, right? I was 9 years old. We went to the mall, and those racks that are circular, and there's the clothes on them.
Yeah,
I went and hid in one of the middle of them.
Fuck yeah, you did.
And my mom had to page me over the intercom. Had to have them page me, and I knew I was getting my ass beat. My mom lifted me up by one arm and
she makes them use your middle name.
Beating me. I mean, on the way out the door, and no one was like clapping, going, yeah, but people were like, that's what you get, little motherfucker. See?
Well, if
that's
you did that now, you'd have CPS at your house as soon as you got home.
I'm surprised CPS hasn't showed up at this chick's house and beat the shit out of her son in that fucking riot. I'll be honest with you.
Fuck, they put her on the Today Show.
We're waiting for talking about it at work. We're waiting for it. We're waiting for her to get charged. And you know what that mother would say? Same thing my mother would say. Oh, he thinks he's got it bad here with me? Put his ass in a state home. See how bad he really, you know what? Take his ass. I don't need him. Go ahead, take him. Put his ass in a state home for a couple fucking years, and we'll see if he comes out talking that shit. Because I guarantee you he's going to learn to keep his fucking mouth shut, one way or the other. Go ahead. I guarantee you that's what she would say, because that's a real fucking parent. I'm sorry, look, I'm not for beating your kids. All right, I spanked my daughter a handful of times. When I say I spanked my daughter, I mean like I popped her on the butt when she was still in diapers one time because I wasn't going to play this. Come here for 15 minutes. I say one time, come here. She doesn't. I go collect her. She gives me a hard time. I pop her on the ass one time. She starts with the crocodile tears, and I'm like, suck it up, or I'm going to give you something to cry about. And she just, 2 minutes later, she's playing. Like nothing happened, but she's not over there trying to get the bleach cap undone and pour it all over herself. That's how she learned.
Nothing teaches better than pain, man.
Hey, like, Eddie Griffin said it best. My mama beat my ass out the penitentiary. That's the truth. I mean, that is the truth. Yeah. That pain will give you a memory of what not to do. Mm-hmm. It seriously will. So my friends were like, let's go boost a car. I was like, whoosh, I'm good. You go ahead.
Yeah.
Because I know what's coming when I get caught. Yeah. Exactly. Because my parents aren't just going to yell at me and say, no TV, no Nintendo. I'm going to get a Nintendo upside my head and a TV thrown on top of me when I'm knocked unconscious. That's what I'm going to get. So you go ahead. But look, all this here's something I really want to get into, gentlemen. I think we can all agree there's a difference between protesters and the people rioting and looting.
Yeah,
I think that's something it's easy for us to come to an agreement upon. I'm irritated, and forgive me for once again bringing up the racial aspect, but I'm really irritated by people saying that not saying, excuse me, that implying through social media, through comments I hear on a day-to-day basis, that they're the one and the same. Protesters are not the same as rioters and people that are looting. And I'll even say this.
Yeah.
Rioters probably aren't the same as protesters, just like looters aren't the same as rioters. People that probably started rioting out of just pure fucking frustration and rage and just fuck it. And then the looters were like, well, if they're doing this shit, let's go get us some fucking new shit.
Yeah, they're the looters are the people who have just been hanging out looking for an opportunity.
Exactly.
They were probably like, well, we're robbing that corner store next week, and then riots broke out, and they're like, oh, we're doing it now.
I want you guys to listen to this. It's one of the city council members from Baltimore.
Okay.
Hey, Jay.
You're a city councilman. What is it? If you're watching this, tell me what this means for your city. Ceasefire. When you're watching this go on, does it break your heart to see this happen?
Oh, definitely. I mean, what it is young boys, the young folks of this community showing decades old of anger, frustration for a system that's failed them. I mean, this is bigger than Freddie Gray. This is about the social economics of poor urban America. And, these young guys are frustrated, they're upset, and unfortunately, they're displaying it in a very destructive manner. When folks are undereducated, unfortunately, they don't have the same intellectual voice to express it the way other people do, and that's what we see through the violence today.
We just watched this liquor store being looted, and there's a bunch of folks running in and out of there.
Yeah.
Nothing doing nothing. What's wrong with that? The police are all the way down there. You're a city council member, is that right?
Is it right for people to loot? No. I mean, I think you've missed everything I've tried to articulate to you. What I've said is everything out here has happened wrong. The violence is wrong. That's never acceptable. Understanding that there's a symptom of something that's going on here. And what I'm trying to articulate to you is we look at communities like this in urban America, lack of education, lack of commercial development, lack of opportunities. It's the social economics of it. It has nothing to do with West Baltimore or this particular corner in Baltimore. This could erupt anywhere in socially, economically deprived America.
We've certainly seen this in other cities. Obviously, Ferguson comes to mind.
We also see it at rallies like at Kentucky. When Kentucky lost that basketball game, we see crowds that loot and that flip over cars and stuff. But unfortunately, all of the 95% of the positive rallying that has been occurring here in Baltimore, the national media is going to focus on this, and that's the problem.
So what are the legitimate grievances in your mind that folks have about being here? Is it against the police? Is it against the poverty?
I think this is a culmination of a lot of different things. Decades old of failed policies. Decades old of lack of development for these communities. I mean, it's a lot that pours into it, and these young boys are speaking tonight, unfortunately, in a very wrong way.
Do you have any idea why, as we're seeing what's going on here, and obviously you've got the police who have now backed off, any idea why?
We asked them to back off. The men of this community came together. We talked to the police. We told them we would be able to kind of talk to the young guys out here, and we asked them to back up, and they did it. It worked out. So
it worked out, but the liquor store's still being looted.
That was best pass. And at this point, this is not productive. You keep talking about it.
Go ahead, Megan.
Ask one of these guys, please. We've seen allegations.
Yeah, you're not asking him shit. He's not talking to you anymore. Right, so that was an interesting conversation because he kept going back to,
Look at the looting.
No. Oh, yeah,
Address that.
did.
Address that. And he's like, I'm not trying to fucking address that because
he's trying
I'm not
to address
speaking for those people.
Right. He's addressing the bigger picture, and he's saying there's a whole socio-economical situation that has caused this, and it's not exclusive to this corner or this city. And the reporter just won't take that as an answer, which seems to be the problem with the media in general. They're not taking that for an answer. Like, well, what has made these men so angry and so disenfranchised with the system? And when people flat out tell them
you're not
they don't
including them in the system, you're fucking hammering them. You're
right.
fucking them.
Exactly, but they don't want to take that as an answer. No. This has to be something else.
There has, yeah. It's basically it's and this is just my point of view, it's the media's institutionalized racism. They want to paint someone as the bad guy constantly. And after 30 some years of Cops and every other fucking, reality show that involves a lockup on MSNBC and all this shit, it's easy to paint people who are poor, black, etc., whatever, as the bad guys and go and point and go, well, look, aren't these bad people? Say they're bad people. And he's like, look, of course they're fucking bad people. Can we get over that? Now let's talk about the reason why this protest erupted into a riot. Let's not talk about the opportunists that said, oh, there's a riot, now we can go get free shit. Those are fucking scumbags. I'm not worried about them. I'm worried about the fucking people who went from protesting to rioting. Why that went from that. Rioting does... I don't know if I'm explaining myself correctly. Just because you're at a protest and it turns into a riot does not mean those people rioting are going to start looting.
Right.
But some will. Some will. I mean, obviously, mob mentality takes over.
But come on. Nobody shows up and says, I want to make my voice heard, and I'm going to stand on the Capitol steps and scream until somebody hears me. And then that person does not go straight to, oh, well, they're not hearing me. I'm going to throw this rock. Oh, I threw that rock and now there's a riot. Oh, I'm going to loot that corner store. That is not all the same person.
Yeah, exactly.
This is like people show up, riot breaks out, other people who want to take advantage of that situation show up, and those are the ones doing the real destruction.
And see, this is something that I've tried to have conversations with people recently, even before this happened. We're going back to the Ferguson thing, and people who let's just be honest, white, a lot of conservative, or I don't want. It's not fair. It's not fair to say conservative. A lot of solidly middle class white people that I talk to, they're my friends. They go, well, man, see, would you do that? And I'm like, no. And they're like, well, you're poor. You've been fucked with. You've been fucked over by the system. Would you do that? I'm like, I'm not a fucking sociopath. There's a fucking difference. I'm not.
Well, it's not about being a sociopath necessarily. Well, no, I think that's a little extreme.
But you get what I'm saying. I'm not a type of person who's going to see. I can get away with this at this moment, so I'm going to do this.
Yeah, but you also don't have your peers constantly telling you, oh, there's nothing you can do. You're stuck in the system. The man's got his boot on your neck. Every cop is out for you.
Shit.
You
don't know my friends. I'm not even bullshit. I mean, I know it sounds like a joke and let's make jokes about Rich, but no, I'm being dead serious.
I'm not making jokes, but I'm saying you don't belong to a culture that is I don't know how to say this.
Let's put it this way.
I belong against itself.
No, because that's exactly what I wasn't trying to say.
Thank you.
That they're working against themselves. But I don't know how to phrase it in the correct way.
Here's the deal. I made jokes about I'm finally legit. I want to drive through certain neighborhoods where the cops are known to be fucking, I'm not going to say Nazi-esque, but let's just say Stalin-esque, whatever, but whatever the
Maoish tendencies.
Yeah. But I mean, I was obviously joking because I don't care if all my paper is good. The minute that cop gets behind me, even if I know I've felt this way since I was a little kid and I was in the passenger seat, my dad was driving.
Yeah.
I was afraid they were going to pull us over, take him away, put me somewhere. That's the culture I grew up in. To me, that is, and this is what's hard to explain to people. It's not black. It's not white. It's not Mexican. It's just being working poor because we're the easiest. We're the easiest to prey upon. We're the easiest to they stick us in the system. It's a cycle of bullshit. Aaron, no, you didn't pay this. Okay, now you're back in it. Now you need to pay this. Well, where the fuck did this one come from? I paid everything. I have all the paperwork. I have the receipts. What the fuck? Well, we said this. Well, what if I don't pay it? Well, do you want to do 6 months? Because there's your fucking choice. It's that type of mentality that sadly I have. And only as I became older did I learn to outgrow it. But then I hit a rough stretch and hey, I went right back to the mentality I had when I was younger. I'm like, man, I don't know. Do I call 911? I don't think so. It's a lot easier to fucking be judged by 12 than fucking, carried by 6. I mean, that's just, I handle it yourself. I mean, to give you an example, I brought this up a little bit before the show when we were just bullshitting. 5 miles from where I'm at, a 20-year-old guy shot 9 times by a federal officer. From everything I've heard, it sounds like it might be a legit shooting. that he might have posed a threat. He had a violent history, but it's 5 miles from where I live. And they had protesters out today. And then for the most part, the protesters were peaceful, but then there was people getting riled up. And I'm thinking, if shit pops off, this is what Aaron, Chris, you've been to my neighborhood, my little couple area block. This is what my block will do. They'll sit on the front porch with a shotgun saying, keep that shit on 7 Mile. You come north of Vassar, we're going to fucking fuck you up. Don't bring that bullshit here. We have a nice little community right here, and we're going to keep it that way. And we don't give a fuck what the cops done. We know the cops are wrong, but you ain't going to bring that bullshit into our neighborhood. And that's the type of community that I came from. And that's the type of community that I think protesters come from. And then maybe the anger boils over and they turn into rioters, but they're not the same people as the looters and et cetera, et cetera. So I don't know if I'm making my point or not. It's hard for me because I don't want to condone one thing and condemn another, but at the same time, I understand being so pissed off. Chris and I had this conversation after we did our last bit of shows. It was not recorded. At a certain point, it's like, what the fuck can you keep doing, man? You know, how silence is compliance. How long can I sit here and not fucking do something about it? I see this shit every day, and it's not an isolated incident. So at what point am I guilty by not doing something? But I don't know what to do at the same time because I have no power. Am I going to run for office? Get the fuck out of here.
Well, I mean, then you'd be indebted to that's another criminal system. That's for another conversation.
Put cameras on all the cops. That'll solve it.
Until they turn them off.
Yeah, because they don't have power buttons. I mean, they're already learning that lesson in Missouri. We talked about that. I don't know whatever became of that. But can I ask the burning question here? And I don't know. How does destroying your neighborhood send a message? Maybe I failed to articulate that during Ferguson, but maybe it's that article I sent you guys, kind of maybe. But how does destroying where you live, taking jobs away from people in your community, probably putting people back in the system that clawed their way out of it, how is that sending a message? Is your message, hey, we would like a stronger police presence of this corrupt police force in this area? Because all you're doing is you're plunging it further into blight.
Yeah, but, did me punching a hole through the wall and breaking my hand send a message to my ex-wife?
No.
Probably not.
That's what I'm...
Probably not. It wasn't very effective. But
a protest.
I didn't know what else to do at the time.
To protest an injustice is a logical response to that. When you feel that there's been so much done to you that rage builds up, you're no longer coming from a logical standpoint. You're coming from a purely base emotion standpoint, and you act out. That is where holes get punched in walls. That's where people kick in, fucking car windows of their neighbors on the street they live on, and they're like, I guarantee you 9 out of 10, if you sat them down after they calmed down, they go, that didn't even make fucking sense.
Yeah,
it didn't. But I was so pissed off at the time, I just struck out at anything I could. It's like when you haven't heard Chris doesn't have any children, but the rest of us have children. Have you ever seen your kids so frustrated that they just lash out at their own things, like throw their own toys around, and you're like, why are you throwing your toys around?
Grown adults do that shit all the time.
That little kid who throws his cell phone down and breaks it.
Yeah, shit like that. And you're like, what are you doing? You know that you're not going to get a new one. Or you destroyed your own toy. That's your toy. Why are you breaking your own toy? Right. That's how irrationally upset they are at that moment.
I had a conversation with AT&T one time when I was trying to get out of a service contract because I had no service at my house, and I was talking to them on the phone that I bought from them, and through the phone out of frustration. Does that hurt AT&T? No, I'm the one who has to go out and buy a new fucking phone. Thankfully, I was outside because that's the only place where I could get a fucking signal. I'm pacing up and down my driveway, bitching them out that as soon as I walk inside my house, I'm going to get it dropped. And I hit a tree, and it was an evergreen tree, and it just kind of swallowed the thing up and held it for me. So I just reached in and grabbed it. But yeah, what was the sense in me throwing the phone, and if I would have hit something solid, breaking it and having to go out and buy a new one?
Chris, I
didn't know what else to do.
Let me give you an example.
You lash out physically when you feel like you have no more options left to you.
But I mean, the most successful protests in this country that have gotten things done have been nonviolent. I mean, the March on Wall. How many people died in the March on Washington in, what was it, 64, 63? I mean, that's...
It's hard. Well, it's really hard to say what is the most successful. I mean,
you have to channel that energy constructively.
Yes, but the March on Washington is used as an example, but that was just... We use that as an example because that was a peaceful example. But there were many violent protests that happened around the same time too. You could say that they all led up to change in this nation.
Well, there's also okay, going back to the Detroit riots of '67. There's something that I was reminded of that happened back then that has not happened in any of these riots that we're talking about that have happened in the last year in America.
Yeah.
And that is
tanks.
In '67, one of the baseball players for Detroit Tigers, Willie Horton, he was so distraught over what was going on.
He started a rockabilly band.
They canceled the game. He didn't even change clothes. He went out in his uniform, went out in the streets, and started calming people down and going, look, I get it. And this is when ball players made like 24, well, not even 24, like 19 grand a year back in the day. Yeah, it was good money, but still, they weren't what they are now as far as millionaires.
Yeah, they still had to have jobs in the off season.
Off season, exactly.
Right. No,
exactly.
I think 19 is rather high for the era you're talking about. But yeah, go ahead.
But yeah, he went out in the streets and he was like, look, you're destroying your own community.
Well,
I understand you're upset. And people actually stopped and listened to him because this was a dude who was from their own community, who, yes, he made on the high side of money at that point, but it wasn't like if Donald Trump got up and was like trying to tell the people in Kentucky, you need to stop rioting because we can diversify your bonds, and all that bullshit.
Yeah, but Rich, I do have to disagree with that, though, because, and I can forgive you for not seeing all the different stories that were about Baltimore because there was so much news coverage of it and so much of it was just the same repeated bullshit. But I can tell you that I don't remember any actual names from the people, but there was two separate stories. I saw a football player and
Ray Lewis
and a rapper that both spoke out and were trying to speak to their community. There was a rapper that went to, some famous rapper, if you said his name, I'd probably say, yeah, him, that went to a high school and went around talking to the kids about what was happening.
Well, and I agree with you. And Ray Lewis, yes, he did. He made a YouTube video or whatever web video, and then he did something to back up what he said, which is he's a analyst for ESPN. The NFL draft is coming up. Former NFL player. He said, "I'm not going to the draft. I'm staying here, and I'm gonna try to fucking. I'm gonna do what I have to do to help the community that gave me the life I'm able to live." And for all of his faults, and I don't even want to get into that. We can get into that whenever.
Stuff about Ray Lewis, it is kind of an ironic statement, but
yes, but
I've heard some things.
I give him credit on that one. I have to give him credit on that one because
he's super respected in Baltimore. So yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, like more so than even Cal Ripken.
Retired from the team that drafted him. Like he was a Raven his whole. Sorry, Rich. It's continue. Sorry.
No, yeah. And in football, that is very rare for you retire with the same team that drafted you. But I mean, like there's Cal Ripken. So of course, white people are going to listen to Cal Ripken because he's a white baseball player and he spent his entire career with Baltimore. Blah blah blah. But Ray Lewis is football is king in this country, and for better or for worse, you have a lot of people. And this is something that I thought was interesting: is that a lot of the initial protests that led to riots were social media like organized in the high school and just post high school age, and there was words thrown out like we're gonna go out there and we're gonna go on a fucking 12-hour purge like the fucking movie The Purge, and like there was a bounty put on cops' heads. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, that'll fix things.
Yeah, I know, and I don't know how legit it was because one idiot could post something through fucking 4chan and say there's a bounty on cops' heads. And then next thing you know, boom, you got fucking people going in the media, oh shit, well, this is what these kids were doing. But Ray Lewis can go out there and post a video. And if he actually goes out there and he goes in the streets and he talks to people and he actually does something, I got to give him credit for that. I just have to.
Yeah, because Ray Lewis's whole message is knock this shit off. You're wrecking the community. You're not. That's the general. If you want to sum up the Ray Lewis video, it's pretty much what he's saying.
Exactly. And to back to your one point, Chris, there is no logical reason for you to tear up your own shit, your own community when you're this pissed off. But when you reach this level of anger, you're not using logic. It's like I said, the most base instinct.
Rich, I get it, but it's once again, I'm using my brain with an emotional issue, but it's just, all you're going to do is increase the police presence of the police you're riding against.
Yeah, yes.
Well, dude, look at Detroit. It's 40 years later, it's still recovering. And I read a story about how that they're trying to bring back that section of Baltimore, and with one fell swoop, they fucking set it back 10 years. A lot of people are saying, just brought it back. It's all fucked up.
Real quick, just before we wrap this up, Aaron, you might appreciate this quote. I heard. I didn't heard. I read this quote. I cannot remember the article, or else I'd quote it directly. So I'm paraphrasing.
Yeah.
But it was. They said. The city of Baltimore was so worried after David Simon wrote "Homicide: A Year on the Killing Streets of Baltimore," and then started The Wire.
Yeah.
And they're like, between that book and The Wire, that probably did more to give sympathy from around the country and even the world to the city of Baltimore than what's going on now has set it back. Because you have people looking, going, see, they're the animals we thought we were. I've actually had people post articles that say they need to wall up Baltimore and shoot any of the quote-unquote animals who try to get out.
Jesus.
Wow.
And I'm just like...
Freaks.
Do you exactly? And these are people.
Is your hood at the cleaners, buddy?
No.
These are people, gun to their head, would go, I'm not racist. I'm not racist at all.
No, we need to send Omar in. Straight people. He'd walk down the street with a shotgun, and people would just run back into their homes.
Omar coming!
Omar coming! Put that fire out!
Just looks at riders and goes, "Shit."
No, that's Clay Davis, but yeah.
That was bunk.
No.
I'm sorry, that wasn't bunk.
That was Clay Davis.
I'm racist. I'm confusing my black people from The Wire.
All right, should we wrap it up?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
And now that we brought the room down, we'll catch you guys on the next one.
All right.
Thanks for listening.
Thanks for liking. Thanks for everything else, and we do appreciate it.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
If you enjoy this show and want more people to know about it, head on over to iTunes, leave a comment, and rate it 5 stars. Make sure you like and share us on Facebook, and don't forget to follow us on Twitter. Just search for Christopher Media. Thank you in advance for supporting Christopher Media by clicking on the PayPal button and by clicking through to all the sponsors who support ChristopherMedia.net. Most importantly, we would like to take the time to extend an extra special thanks to you. Christopher Media could not exist without your support. Thank you for visiting ChristopherMedia.net, and thank you for listening. Christopher Media. Let's make some noise.
You might not think that a few simple words could make you crave McDonald's breakfast sandwiches. But if you listen closely to the sound of me saying McGriddles, McMuffin, you might be wrong. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
At Jewelers Mutual, we're a little obsessed with jewelry. Obsessed like auctioneers with talking fast.
50, we're gonna
pop stars with auto-tune. And dentists with asking questions.
So, how did he propose?
After they've put their hands in your mouth.
Great.
Yes, we've made jewelry our obsession for over 100 years. We love it so much we named our kids Ruby, Amber, and Opal.
Venti soy latte for Opal?
At Jewelers Mutual, we ensure